Hi you guys, so you guys voted on my Instagram that you guys wanted to see a makeup tutorial, and then you had a choice between like me going all out like I do for blog photos, or if you just want an everyday look. And so the everyday look won. So I'm gonna get started here. So what I do is I always want to start with a good primer. So I use the Professional by Benefit. And it's because I have large pores, and so this kind of covers up like those pores. Plus it's also a little bit tinted, so it helps your foundation last a little bit longer. So I just take a little bit of it and I put it on my hand. It doesn't take much of this at all, like that much, and that's for like my whole face. So then I just dab it on with my finger, little there, little there, little there, there. I'll also put a little bit under my chin. All right, and I just rub it in, easy peasy. Now I'm not going to do my eyelids because I put a different type of primer on there, and it's an actual eyeshadow primer. All right, next I'm going to do the foundation, and I use the NARS Velvet Matte Skin Tint. I like it because it has SPF 15. And here in Houston, you need your sun protection. So I'm gonna actually put just a little dab, and I mean seriously, a teeny tiny little dab. Like that's it. That one little dot is all I'm gonna use for my entire face. And then I'm gonna take the Farsali Rose Gold Elixir, and let's see if can you see that? There we go. I'm gonna add one small little drop to it because it just gives it more of like a, not a shine, a glow is what it kind of adds to your foundation. So I'm literally just going to take one little drop, then mix it up on the back of my hand. There we go. And then I again just dab this around on my face. Nothing special. A little bit under my chin so I don't get weird makeup lines. Just kind of scooping it up off my palm of my hand and just dabbing it on. Alright, then I'm going to take the Ulta Beauty buffing brush because it's very dense, and I use a buffing brush instead of a foundation brush because I found this just gets a more even application and less streaky. So then I just go in little circles all over my face, starting with my forehead. You don't have to start with your forehead, that's just where I typically start. But you can start wherever you want to. And voila. Next, I'm gonna do a little bit of contouring, not a lot, just a little bit. But actually, sorry, rewind. I almost forgot. I need to set my foundation really quickly. And what I like to use is the Laura Mercier setting powder. And you just need just a teeny tiny little bit of this. So what I do is I turn it over and I take what's in the lid. And then I take my Becca Beauty, there it is, kabuki brush, and I just kind of do it in there. And then I do a few pats just to kind of make sure that the powder is evenly distributed, and I just rub this all over my face to set the foundation. And if this really just helps your foundation last longer, and can also help combat excuse me, some of the oil, because I have combination skin, and so I get oily here and then on my eyelids, but everywhere else is like super dry. Alright, so now I'm going to do a little bit of contouring, and I use the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I use, when I'm just doing an everyday look, I use the lightest shade of contour, which is Subconscious, I do believe. So, it's always hard to tell from the back to the front, because some of them they're like mirrored, and some of them are actually like what's on that side. It's weird. Alright, so I'm going to use Subconscious. It's the lightest shade, And I'm going to use the Sigma Beauty Large Angled Contour F40 brush to do it. So I'm just gonna get just a little bit on there. And now I'm gonna make a fish face. And rub this on that line right there and kind of blend it downwards. Just like that, just a little bit. Just enough to give my cheekbone a little bit of definition. Same thing this side. And then blend it down. And that's it. That's all the contouring I'm going to do, besides highlighter, of course. So then I'm going to take the Ulta Beauty Contour Bronzer brush, I cannot speak today, and I'm going to use that for highlighter. I like to use darker bristles for highlighter because I can actually see how much product I'm getting on my brush, and then the lighter bristles for contour so I can see, again, how much I'm actually getting on my brush. So I'm going to use the lightest shade, which is Levitation. It's kind of the pinkish one. And I'm just going to put this on under my eyes. I'm going to go down my nose, on my chin, and out here under my nose. That's all I'm going to do with that. All right, up next I'm going to go ahead and do my blush, and I use the Sigma Beauty Aura powder and in the shade Nymphea. And then to apply it, I'm going to be using the blush brush from Ulta Beauty. Can you see that? There we go. And now I'm just gonna swivel it around, and I'm just gonna go up and apply it to my cheeks, like so. Easy peasy, nothing special. All right, next I'm going to actually like really do my highlighter. And for my everyday looks, I use Urban Decay Afterglow, and I use it in the shade Sin. And I'm going to take the IT Cosmetics Airbrush Blurring Concealer brush. It's for blurring concealer, but I actually like it for highlighter because I like how fluffy it is. And I just like that better for highlighter. Fluffy works for me for highlighter. I'm gonna put this on the top of my cheekbones. Okay, and then I'll go down my nose a little bit, chin, right here, and then a little bit on my forehead. That's it. Now, if I want a little bit of extra glow on my cheekbones, I take my Physicians Beauty Bronzer Booster, and this highlighter right here is like super strobing, so I just put a little bit of that only on my cheekbones though, and that just gives it a little extra oomph to really get that highlight going on your cheekbones. Yeah, you can really see that right there. See how much more highlighted it is. It looks really like highlighted on camera. It doesn't quite look quite so strong in person, just in case you were wondering. All right, next, I'm gonna do the eyes. Favorite part. All right, so to start off with, like I said, I'm gonna use a different primer for my eyes. I like the Smashbox 24-hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer. This stuff, you use a teeny tiny little bit, and it literally will stay on until you take it off with makeup remover. Like water, not gonna take it off. You have to use makeup remover. This stuff is serious. It's like concrete for your eyeshadow. And so I'm gonna take out my little close-up mirror here. So if I duck down a little bit, bear with me. So you just literally, you're gonna use the tiniest little amount. Like that is probably way too much. So I'm just gonna get a little bit like that. That's all you need for one lid. All right. So you're just gonna apply it to your lid, like so. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other lid. And sometimes, like if I'm just going out for a quick trip, I don't use this. But if I know I'm gonna be gone for a while, because I have really oily eyelids, and so if I don't use this, then my eyeshadow ends up in the creases, and that's no fun. So I just use that. It's quick, it's easy, not hard to do. So, sorry, I just dropped something. For eyeshadow, I just got this palette. It's the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. I got it at Ulta. They have it at Ulta Beauty now. And I'm going to be using the shades In Light and Pooter, which I'll show you what they are in just a second. I'm only going to use 2 shades I usually only use 2 shades for a day look. Sometimes if I'm doing more like 3 shades, that's for like an evening look or blog photos. So let me show you what shades I'm using. So I'm using In Light, which is right here, and then Pooter is this one. Alright, so let me get that started. So for my actual eyelid, I'm using In Light, which is the lighter shade, and I'm going to be applying it with the Ulta Beauty eyeshadow, small eyeshadow brush. See if you can see that. So I'm just going to get a little bit on there, and then I'm just going to sweep it across just my lid. So I'm using my mirror that does a little bit closer up down here. And you'll notice that these shades look a little bit different on than they do on the palette. Like they'll be brighter. Can you tell? Looks different. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. Also, this primer will make your eyeshadows look a little bit more pigmented, which I like because then I don't have to use quite so much. Like your colors will like really pop. Next, I'm going to use this color cleaner to clean off the color from my brush. I got this on Amazon for like $6 and it's like just a spongy thing and you just rub your brush on it and it removes the color. So it's ready to go next time. So it's not gonna like transfer any weird colors over. All right, next, to do the darker shade, which I'm gonna do on the crease of my eye, I'm using the Morphe M433 brush. And I'm just gonna kind of just sweep it on. That's all I'm gonna do. So it's, again, shade Pooter. It's kind of a funky name, but it's cute, Pooter. And I'm just gonna sweep it in the crease. Easy. I feel like a pirate. And this is just like an everyday type of look. So I'm not like going crazy or anything. Alright, and now I've noticed that this is really bright and this is really dark. So I think I'm going to go over my lid again in a slightly like in between shade just to kind of tone it down a little bit since this is a day look. So I think I'm going to use the shade Silk Cream and maybe that'll kind of help blend it a little bit because this is a little stark of a contrast. Alright. So I'm just going to kind of blend over the whole lid with this just to kind of bring some cohesion. Yeah, that's better. I think that's better. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, so I used 3 shades. I used In Light, Pooter, and what was the third one? Silk Cream. And with the Silk Cream, I just went over that whole area just to kind of give it a blend and some cohesion. Because when I first applied the first 2, which I planned on just using the first 2, there was too much contrast between the lighter shade and the darker shade, and so to tie it together I used kind of like an in-between shade and I just ran that over the whole thing. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and do my eyeliner. So I use a combination of liquid and what is this? It's not charcoal, but it's, well, it's kind of like a cream crayon type of thing. Anyways, I use the Styla eyeliners because again I have oily eyelids and I've tried so many eyeliners and these are the only ones that stay put. So this is the Smudge Stick Waterproof Eyeliner. So that's what I'm using first, and I use this first when I do eyeshadow because that eyeshadow can dry out your liquid liners. So I use this first just to kind of give a smoother surface to put my liquid on. And I'm just going to go right on the top, just over my lashes with this. All right. And this side. Sorry if I'm not really like talking much while I do this because this takes a lot concentration. All right. And for an everyday look, I usually don't do a cat eye for an everyday look. I usually just do that right there, and then I'll do a little bit on the bottom, which I'll show you in just a second. All right, so the next thing I do is I'm gonna go back over that with the Styla Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. And you shake it up first, and I'm just gonna go over that. And this just gives it a little bit more, like it just stays better. And again, I use the first one first because, again, eyeshadow can really dry out your liquid liner. I just go back over my eyelid with that. Like, that's it. That's all I do. It's pretty easy. All right. Now for underneath my eyes, my lower lash eyeliner. I'm going to take it back out my palette, and I'm going to use Puder again. Just because I usually use whatever shade I use that's darker on my lower lash line. And this is not a branded brush, but it's just a little angled tip brush. Can you see that? And I just kind of go right along there with this. So again, I'm going to use my darker shade that I use, which is Puder. I'm going to be looking down in my little close-up mirror to do this. And if this shade isn't dark enough, I might go over it in a little bit darker shade. Which I think I might need to do. Yeah, I'm going to use a slightly darker shade. So I'm going to add Mocha, the shade Mocha, which is right there. I'm just going to go over Puder with it. Just to have a little bit of a darker definition. Yeah, that's better. All right, so let me do Puder first on this side. I'm not really too worried about it being straight because I'm going to smudge it here in a minute. And back over it with Mocha. And then I'm just going to take a smudger tool, which is this, and I'm going to go over it with the smudger tool. This isn't a brand. These little brushes came in like this weird gift set that I got from Groupon, so they don't really have a brand. I'm just going to go across it with the smudging tool, like so, making a funny face as I do it. And there's only two things left to do. I'm going to do my brows. And then I'm also going to do my lips for you guys today. All right, so for my brows, I don't do too much because I've never really been much of a plucker. So my eyebrows are already pretty full. So I'm just going to use Brow Food, Aqua Brow Powder, and Pencil Duo, even though I don't use the pencil. That's what it looks like. And it's really just like a powder that I'm going to put in there, and it's just going to make them look a little bit fuller, if that makes sense. So here we go. I think this company actually has a couple of other products like Lash Food and stuff. This is the only product of theirs I've used and I like it, so I might have to try out some of the other ones. I don't know. But then again, I don't really use mascara anymore now that I have eyelash extensions. So, I don't know. Let me do the other side. Can you see the difference though? Like this one just looks more full. Yeah. Now, like for every day, I might not do all of these steps. Like sometimes I do eyeshadow and sometimes I don't. I just thought I would show you guys all the steps you can take for like an everyday look, and you can edit as you see fit. Like I might not always do my eyebrows. I might not always do my lips every day, you know? So I just thought I'd show you everything instead of like, you know, having to shoot an everyday makeup look like 10 times. All right. So now my eyebrows are done, and the last thing I'm going to do is my lips. And I have tried several different types of lip products, and I always use the cream ones because I don't really like anything else because I feel like they dry out my lips. So I started out using the Sephora ones, and they work pretty well. They just, what is the word I'm looking for? They are kind of streaky and you can't really see, and they wear off pretty quick. So then someone recommended the Stylo ones to me. So I use that, but it feathers around your lips after a while. So stop buying those. So then I ran across Anastasia Beauty's liquid lip, and I love it. It stays on forever, it doesn't feather, it doesn't dry my lips out. I love it. So I'm going to be using it in the shade Crush today. I also have it in a couple other shades, like the other one I use fairly often is the Catnip shade, and that's whenever you see like on my Instagram that I have like the more of a purplish color, I'm usually using Catnip. Alright, so I'm going to apply Crush, and I always use a close-up mirror because I can't do it this far away. But I will show you guys how I do it. Like, I always start with my bottom lip, and then I do an X right here at my Cupid's bow, and then fill it in, if that makes sense. Alright, so here we go. And I don't go all the way to the corners of my mouth, just because I feel like I look like a clown if I do that sometimes. Okay, now I'm gonna, real quick, and now I'm gonna do my X. Until I get it even, there we go. And again, not going all the way down to my corners. And voila. So the reason I don't go all the way down to my corners is because I have a little bit of a downturn at the corners of my lips. And so if I do that, I end up with like lipstick all over this area. And so that's why I don't put lipstick in my corners. But anyways, I'm gonna take my headband out now. That's kind of how I do like an everyday makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do plan on doing, ooh, my curls have fallen out a little bit. I do plan on doing a couple other makeup tutorials. So like maybe like an evening look, or like how I do my blog makeup, which is completely different. Like I go all out with stuff. I'm like a clown afterwards because, you know, photo makeup, you have to do more. But if you want to see those videos and you want to get notified of when they're happening, just subscribe to my channel. I love for you to subscribe, check out my other videos. Follow me on Instagram, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Facebook. Everything's under Classical Trendsetter except for my Twitter account, and that's because you have to have a shortened URL, but if you just search Classical Trendsetter, you'll find me. I blog at classicaltrendsetter.com. And so yeah, I just really would love to hear from what you would like to see more on my channel down below in the comments. If you liked today, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.